Die Another Day, Pierce Brosnan's last Bond movie. Did it end with a bang or did it die with a thud? Did he really die another day? Let's get into Die Another Day. Like I said, this is Pierce Brosnan's last movie. And unlike some of the past Bond actors, you don't really feel like he's kind of hung up the old suit in this one and drunk his last martini for it. He's still put in a top-notch performance. And to me, Die Another Day, it used to be like my favorite Bond movie. Not Bond movie, but Pierce Brosnan movie. Maybe the favorite Bond movie too until the recent ones. But it now, after going throughout the whole catalog of the Bond movies, for Pierce, I think I kind of like Tomorrow Never Dies with good old Michelle Yeoh. I can't never say her last name. But anyways, I still got a little fondness in my heart for Die Another Day. I think it is a hit and miss movie. There's a lot of good stuff. But once you get to the good old Iceland and Ice Palace, then you get to the fantasy part of Bond. You know, Bond's movies are always kind of like, you got a lot of realism and with the touch of fantasy, you know, make-believes, gadgets and stuff that years in the future are somewhat came to pass. And maybe, the big laser beam, but the Ice Palace and, the whole scene where he's racing at the sun ray, it's a little bit of a fantasy type trope, and this is like the infancy of CGI, so it kind of suffers a little bit in that scene, and it does kind of drag the movie down for me just a bit, but overall, besides that little part, I really do enjoy Die Another Day. I think it's kind of interesting. This is, from what I can recollect, Bond has been captured before in his other Bond movies, but this is like the first time that he's really captured for a long period of time. And it's not Bond doing the rescuing. The British government actually has to trade in another villain to get him out of this captivity that he was been into. And this, because they think that he has portrayed them and given out government secrets. His reputation in this movie is in the gutter. Nobody really trusts him, at least on the surface. And so he kind of has to prove himself that he is a top-notch secret agent person. This movie touches on North Korea for the first time, if my memory serves me well. And, this is kind of like a point in where North Korea did have a lot of threats to America. I can't remember. I mean, this might be just a touch before. There was always claiming they were going to nuke New York and stuff with their missiles. I think that's about a decade before that time. But, North Korea was trying to flex some muscle at the turn of the century. And this is where Die Another Day kind of points this out. And then we got the big diamond heist here. And we have the, maybe a copy of Face Off, because our villain becomes a white man, because the white man's always evil and tyrannical, so why not become a white man? And we always got power, right? Right, boys? So, he becomes a Korean to a white guy, another kind of fantasy-like technology. And it makes me wonder if they did get some inspiration from Face Off in that regards. I'll sit here and just try and get my notes open while I talk about other stuff. We got the great old actress Halle Berry in this, and her classic swimsuit, when she comes out of the water in that orange bikini, looking fantastic as she did and still does. And I think Halle Berry puts in a fantastic performance in this movie. It's so great that the studio actually thought about making their own little Jinx spinoff movies. I remember watching Jay Leno and them talking about, him congratulating her. I didn't really say it outright, but eventually it kind of leaked out that they were thinking about doing a Jinx spinoff, and I would have been all for it. Instead, she made Catwoman. I kind of wrecked that idea and her popularity, because Catwoman, I think you can make a good Catwoman movie, but with what they came up with, and she did a great job in that movie, but what they came up with, that movie was not very good plot-wise, and I kind of wrecked the whole Jinx thing, because then studios started questioning her ticket sales power. You got some great action scenes in this one. You know, starts off with the bang, with the whole chase on the on the hovercraft type of vehicles, going off a waterfall. Sets that up very well. And then you get the sword fight between him and between Bond and Goose. What's his name? You know, the villain guy. I can't remember. I know the name, but I know I'll wreck it if I try to pronounce it. But I like that. It's a good sword fight, very well choreographed, very well shot. And then you got a little cheesy part there. I mean, come on, guys. You got these guys sword fighting without armor or anything, you know, they're really trying to make one another bleed. And you're going to have a guy sitting on a chair reading the newspaper. Kind of like far-fetched there. Very movie choreograph, I guess you'd say. There's no way somebody's going to read a newspaper while guys are sword fighting 2 feet from him, you know. And they kind of, I mean, the only reason is there so we can see them take the sword and rip the newspaper in half. But overall, I kind of enjoy the sword fighting. And that's kind of stuff that doesn't really make, kind of brings down Die Another Day compared to other Bonds. I mean, Bond's always been, you know, you got to stretch your imagination, you know, don't believe everything on screen that's possible. You know, there's always had those tidbits in a Bond movie, and this one's no different. Especially, like I said, with this sunray thing coming down and blasting everything. But, you know, it kind of ruined the sword fighting scene a little bit for me, but it's still, I feel like it's a top-notch thing. And even the sunray thing, I mean, on the screen or on the time, it looks pretty action, but when you look back at the sunray chasing him, and the guy makes a comment, you know, oh, he beat your record. It's like, oh, come on, eye roller there. But overall, I think this is a pretty good, strong last movie for Pierce Brosnan. Didn't really hurt the franchise at all. I don't believe so anyways. But it did make him go into a different direction once they went to Daniel Craig for Casino Royale. Let's say Pierce does still pull off a great Bond. I think he is maybe my favorite Bond because he's able to do both the stone cold killer phase and, you know, in public settings, being the cool guy in the room. I think he does that very well. Pierce Brosnan looks like a suave guy, you know what I mean? Let's see, check some other thing. I have a problem with the airplane finale. I don't know about anyone who's here still listening 8 minutes into this. But the airplane finale, you know, we see it blow up a missile, right? The secret weapon. And then they literally drive, like, disintegrate it. Maybe because it's a bomb. Maybe that's why it happened. And then we see them literally fly into this sunblast ray. And the plane's still standing, you know. It's not really crashing, not disintegrating. A little bit unbelievable again. But, you know, you got to do their imagination. Of course, you had Miss Frost in here, played by Rosamund Pike. She puts in a pretty good performance. I don't know if this is her first movie, but I know this is early on in her career, and I think she holds out very well. She does a very good job of playing the double crosser. Madonna has about a 2-minute cameo, per se. Of course, she does the opening song. It's one of the better Bond opening themes. I will say about the Pierce Bonds, they have great theme songs. None of them disappoint at all. Whether it's Tina Turner, Madonna, I think Garbage, who is not Garbage, they're very good, and Sheryl Crow both nailed their theme songs in their time period. Overall, I think Pierce, I would probably put him in the top 2 or 3. I think he's better and more, below Connery, or right there with Connery. Maybe he's the second, third best. Daniel Craig is interesting. It just depends on what you like in a Bond movie. You know, the Bond character and Timothy Dalton. I think I don't really think they've really missed with any of the Bonds. I think all the actors did a great job with their Bonds. Now that my wife is not home, I can say Roger Moore is probably my least favorite of them. Roger Moore and Pierce is her 2 favorites, and Daniel Craig is her least favorite. It's just something about Moore, you know. He's all, I don't know, something about him. But overall, Die Another Day, great movie. Really enjoy it. Probably the one I watched the most is this one and GoldenEye. And even though it has a lot of flaws, but it has Halle Berry in it. And I think she does a great job. And she's probably one of the better Bond girls in the franchise. So let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think about Die Another Day? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's the worst? The best? Where do you put it in your Pierce Brosnan collection? Have a great day. And until next time, bye-bye.